Tell us about your trip. Start right at the beginning.
I don't know what about the trip. Well, it was a lovely trip. I think we both enjoyed ourselves.
Sure it is.
To begin to tell you what we've seen, I can't even describe what we've seen. What we've seen was beautiful.
Lots of green grass.
I think Ireland. I've seen Ireland in pictures, and I think Ireland is everything that in the picture says it is. Beautiful farms.
Little farms.
And that is the farm grounds, and a lot of hay and small grain.
How
And
about
you get up in the hills there where the land ain't so good, and it is. You wonder how they even grow anything up there.
How about the people? How'd you like the people?
They were friendly.
Okay.
Most of them was friendly.
The language was such that you could.
Oh, yeah.
The language was hard to understand.
The language. Why they didn't talk anything but Irish or just.
Yeah, but they talk Irish, but they use English words that we don't even think about using.
Peg wish we would have wrote down some of the sayings they had, like, what I can remember is elevator, they called them lifts.
Lifts?
And instead, like, take food out, take with. They had a lot of, sayings like that, but I didn't hear him talk Gaelic, did you?
No, huh?
I didn't hear.
No,
Well, how about the airplane trip over? Was it pretty good?
Oh, it was great. It was
Did you sleep?
off and on, yeah.
we had a beautiful plane, but
It
that's 6 to 7 hours in a plane sitting in the sea high. That was, my bones got kind of sore.
I never heard him complain one time. We were in Ireland until the last night he had it back in. He never made one complaint nowhere.
Okay, tell us about visiting your family.
So that was great after we got there. We didn't know if we were going to ever get there.
Yeah, you had a problem getting there. Tell us
Yeah.
about it, Floss. What happened?
Well, I told Noreen we'd call her when we got to Dublin. So we got to the motel about 9:30 in the morning, and I tried all afternoon to call her. Operator helps and everything, and I couldn't get her. So when Father and Peg come back from the tour, we got a taxi and went to the train station. And he said, "Now get right on the train as fast as you can. Go around and get on your train." So we had to go around to gate 5, and there was millions of people in that train. People, because they'd had what kind of match did they have?
They had a soccer match.
Some kind of a big
Rugby?
Football.
Right.
Soccer.
Well,
it was a it was
Well,
like
over
a soccer
there.
ball, but they
Rugby.
throw it.
they call it rugby over there.
Well, instead of they call it soccer here, but they call it football over there.
Well, that wasn't what they called it.
Rugby there.
Something.
Well, they kicked the ball anyhow. They kicked,
But
but
they said of Galway would have a Tipperary one, I guess, and they had a special train in there to get them out of there. And because they were going south, I guess, and we were going straight across. Oh, anyway, when they let them get on that train, it was like a stampede of cattle. And then you thought they were full, and then they done it 3 different times, and they let more on, and they let So here we were pretty close to the gate where we were going to get on our train, and we looked around, there was about that many people standing behind us, and Peg thought sure we were going to get the train. But we didn't have any problem. We got on the train, but we still had never contacted them. I think we made about 15 stops at least at every little train station along the way. So when we got to Galway, I told the conductor, I said, we really had a problem because we couldn't contact these people. And he said, well, come on in here. He said, it's quiet. So he rang the number for me. And they answered. Oh, that second ring. So Noreen's daughter's name was
well, I don't know.
Alexandria.
Alexandria, is their name?
What else? Antoinette.
Antoinette.
We kept calling her Anna. Last day she closed her name was Antoinette. Well, she was there 10 minutes.
Oh, good.
And boy, I grabbed her. I said, I never was so happy to see anybody in my life. Because I told her.
How'd you recognize her?
Well, we knew she was coming, and she laughed the next day. She said, I don't know how she said. She said, I never saw any people, and I never saw before. So glad to see me or something. So the whole town was just full. Every place you looked, there was cars parked, and she owned a food shop.
Now, was she an O'Toole?
Well, her
She-
mother was cousin to John.
Okay.
On my mother's side, through the Burns.
It's the Burns back. So she took us past her shop. It was like a taco place that we have here, but I don't know what she said they sold.
Probably meat and potatoes.
Well, no, it was some kind of meat that they put in pita bread. You know what pita bread is.
Yeah.
So when she took us home then she had to go to work. She worked. They were open every day of the week, 24 hours a day. And of course, they were really busy that day, I guess. So then Noreen had cooked dinner for us, so we were eating dinner about 12 o'clock that night. She really tasted pretty good. Because
Yeah.
all we had on the train were those stupid sandwiches. So you can tell it's out well.
We took sweet corn over
Oh,
to Ireland on the plane.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Took the, my cousin in Chicago said that he liked sweet corn. And he said, yeah, take some sweet corn on the plane. And so we stuck a dozen and a half of ears
yeah.
in our traveling bag, and then I put the.
She
He also likes our whiskey too, so.
yeah.
Stuck
I said,
Right.
my God, you're bringing it straight.
a
She did too.
50 yen and a fifth of
Whiskey.
whiskey on top of that. I had quite a time going through custom with it.
I bet you did.
Uh,
The one guy said, "Oh, you got some food in there," and I said, "Yeah, sweet corn." He said, "Oh, bring it back. I'd like that."
Yeah.
They never.
yeah, it showed up on the thing there. They never said anything to me, but Florence behind me, she had to make a remark. Somebody said, "Stack's pretty heavy." Yeah, he said he got food in it. So we went through, we didn't have no problem. Yeah.
I thought maybe it's sour.
And the corn was good.
Were they happy to get the corn?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
they get it over there?
No. See, the cousin in Chicago said, if you want to take them anything, take them to a dozen ears of sweet corn. She said she had sent some more last year because she said they love it, and then they can't get it over there. So they.
Well, you'll have to send them sometime.
Well, I just thought if it's sour, doing that, of course, it didn't. It was fine because they cooked the near for us, and the next night, I guess she cooked on. Then the next day, then we went. The daughter took us to Knox. Where the Blessed Virgin.
Speak a little louder so we can be sure we hear you.
So Father had mass there, and then we shopped a little bit, and then we went on. The cousin Patty lived about 40 miles from Noreen, and I think it was only about 7 miles from this knot. Oh, it's beautiful. Flowers were so pretty there. I was taking pictures just when I was taking all those pictures.
Is this when you didn't have film in your camera? Okay.
So
We're going to enjoy those pictures.
then we got to Patty's, and he took us out. All that was left of the old house where John's mother was born was just the walls. You could see where the rooms were, but it was. We go back this little old cowpath road, and we come to a couple of cars, and they had one stop and back up while the other one got past. It was really out in the sticks. He was at the end of the road.
They're just a single lane going back there. They were back there for 2 or 3 miles.
Now, what town
But
would this have been in?
if you met another car on the road, there's no way you could pass it. One car would have to back up.
So we did that a couple of times. It was Ballyhonus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ballyhonus.
Ballyhonus is the name of the town?
Yeah.
Well, now that's the town where your mother was born?
Well, close to the farm.
Yeah, close to
Yeah.
the farm. Yeah.
Miss Patty and
When
Noreen.
she comes to America, she comes through the town of Ballyhonus. Yeah.
Miss Patty and Noreen, her brother and sister, and this is where they were born too.
In the same house as John's mother?
And see, their mother, I guess she's only been dead about 5 years, hasn't she? And that's where she lived until she died. And Patty's never married, so she lived there with his mother.
So, Patty and Noreen's mother is John's mother's
Yeah,
sister.
yeah. And then they have a brother in Chicago, Mike Kelly, that we go up to see all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So then on the way back, I don't know, we got back, I guess, we stopped in to see the big cathedral there in Galway that used to be a prison.
Pardon me.
Used to be a prison?
It was a prison, and it was a
Yeah,
huge,
prison
huge
doors.
thing.
It is.
No, it was a prison, she said.
Oh, all right.
It was a big cathedral, and it was huge. And I don't know, we visited that night.
Father do mass there? Or did
No,
you
but the
tour
next
it?
morning then, he had mass there in Galway at,
That convent.
it was the nuns island, but it was where the cloistered nuns, you know? What do you say, there was 30 of them?
Mm-hmm.
30 of them, and they never go out. They have to stay there all the time. All they do is pray and sleep, I guess. But they was 3.
That's kind of like me.
They was
Pray
3.
and sleep.
We were
watch football.
the altar was like in the middle, you know, and the priest was in the mass when we got there, and he was facing the nuns. So we come in behind him here, and then there's 3 nuns behind us. So I said, Peggy, we better go over on the other side, and Father has mass. Well, she said, if he wants us, he'll tell us to go there. Well, we found out afterwards nobody was allowed on that side.
Oh.
That, you know, we didn't know what kind of nuns they were. So, but nobody else was allowed on their side. That was it. But just these 3 nuns that was on the side we were, they're the only ones that go out and do the shopping. And,
Just like that doorway. The nuns have one side, and we'd be on this side here. And then when the mass was done, why they would shut that door.
You could see the nuns, though, could you?
Oh yeah.
Were they all
When they
old?
have mass, the door would be open.
well, he said there was one nun there that was really young, didn't he? He said,
Well, they had 2 nuns on this side. They received they got the priest ready. They talked to you. The rest of them was on the other side, and there was no communication with the outside.
What a life.
well, then the next morning we met. Well, that was then after Mass, and Noreen came and picked us up again. Then it was raining. It rained pretty hard that morning. And took us to the square in Galway where we walked all around and shopped and had lunch and met the bus then about 2 o'clock, I guess it was. We had no go, you know, making connections or anything. So.
And then you hooked up with the rest of your tour.
Yeah. So then, by this time they had picked up about. There was only 30 of us when we left Bloomington, but in Dublin, I guess they picked up on Monday morning. They picked up about 20 more people that had been. Well, one couple was from Canada and one was from New Jersey, and there was 2 or 3 other bunches from California.
Huh.
And they'd been to London and all over. So we went then down. Where did we go then?
Ringatary, wasn't it? We left there, went down to the Ringatary.
Oh, but, well, no, we went there the next day. We went down along, we went to that Clifton Moor.
Huh?
We went to that Clifton Moor.
Clifton Moor.
And the scenery was beautiful and everything, but we really didn't make many stops. Then we went to Ennis and stayed at Ennis that night. And then the next day we crossed the Shannon on the ferry. And then we went around the Ring of Kerry. You know what the Ring of Kerry is? Well, I didn't either. I had to figure
It's like a little peninsula that goes out in the bay and then comes back.
from Tara.
And
It's really,
and this bus goes around this, and there's different views of the ocean hitting the mountains there.
scenery was beautiful.
And then on the inside you got the lake, kind of a lake. So you got lake on one side and
I took quite a few pictures out of the window.
and I think it takes you all day to go around. It took the bus all day to go around. When you got around, you're pretty near back in the same place you started from.
Well, we were back in the same town, aren't we? And then where did we go? Didn't have my book. Well, anyway, we landed up. What did we do then? We went. The next day was the day we went to.
Kind of Blarney Stone?
Yeah, the Blarney Stone. That was a. Should have had my picture book out. Can you get some pictures on that thing?
Sure.
Nick,
What?
go in there in the front room and on the split stool, 3 books in there. I'll show you a picture of John Gibson's Blarney Stone.
What about you?
Well, she was afraid she was going to lose her watch. She didn't want
She's
to
been
bend over.
she's been kissing Blarney ever since she's been married to you, John.
Well, it's Blarney Castle. We didn't realize at the time that the stone was in the Blarney Castle. See, we went in the gate and we bought tickets for the castle. For the castle, you buy tickets for the house. There's a big house there too. So we only had 3 hours to shop and do all this. So we thought, well, we'd go through the castle. Well, we went up. You go around. It's like our stair steps in there. One side doesn't have any steps. You know, you go winding around all the way up. Oh God, it was way up there. And then you get kiss the Blarney Stone. Well, then we go down and.
What did you do? You make a wish or something when you kiss the Blarney Stone, or why do
No.
you kiss it?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the
They
story
say it
behind
gives you more Blarney. One
What will
of
that do for you? I hope that got on the tape.
Peg's
Wasn't me.
customers told her she hoped that she wasn't Peggy's customer. It
Oh.
was another lady. One of her customers said one day, well, she hoped that Peggy didn't. She says, you don't need to get the Blarney Stone. She said, you got enough. And Peggy says she's a real quiet lady to start with. Told Peggy she didn't need to kiss the Blarney Stone because she was too full of Blarney anyway.
She had enough Blarney.
Okay,
Oh, look at that.
hold it up and name it around here.
Oh, we're not to there yet. We're not to that
this-
yet.
Oh,
We're gonna find the Blarney Stone here. Oh, that was the night we went out. Oh, we forgot about the night. That Tuesday night, we forgot to tell you about. We went out for a banquet. We had a banquet. We drank mead. You know what mead is?
Meat?
Mead.
Mead? No.
M-E-A-D.
Uh-uh.
We had to put bibs on.
Uh-oh.
We had to put bibs on to eat. Let's see if here, I don't know if you can see that. That was some entertainment.
Ooh.
John kept asking. He was trying to find a Bridget over there in Ireland.
Oh, Bridget.
Yeah. See, we got bibs on there. And finally, Father got so tired, I guess, of talking about a Bridget. He bought him, when we came home, Father had bought him a statue of St. Bridget.
Oh.
Made out of meat, what is it, John? Meat?
Pete.
I was looking for the Blarney Stone, wasn't I? Oh, here's one of the scenery pictures around Trulli there. It's like, this is some of the scenery there, like,
aim it a little bit more toward me, Floss.
where do I find one of these? I can't find anything upside down. I'll see here. We stopped around that ring of Kerry. Father, he got on a donkey. Peg said, boy, we sure took plenty of pictures of that. I got to redo all these. I just took it. Oh, here's Father. Father and John trying to lift up the stone.
Is that the Blarney Stone?
No,
It's
no.
just a stone.
That's
Why
what
are
I
they
always
trying to
thought.
lift it up?
That's just acting like they were.
New church corner.
That's what I always thought the Blarney Stone was like.
Yeah?
But this is way up the top of the building. Then we went on a horse ride. Here's our cart.
Looks
Which
like a postcard.
We took
which
six-
one is John?
That's the Johnny car.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get that one.
We took 6
Oh,
miles.
yeah.
We rode 6 miles, and they took us out in the national park in Killarney, and then they took us into our motel in town.
You did write on everything then.
Yeah, we rode on a car, a bus, train, plane, ferry.
Automobile?
Yeah.
Sounds like to me that every minute was taken up with
Well,
something
yeah.
too, isn't
Well,
it?
here we
That's
are.
story
Pretty
about
busy.
this
Here
park. This person left Killarney and come to this country. He made his fortune. Went out west and he got the deal in minerals out there, and he made a fortune. And somewhere along the line, one of our senators from California come from this family. And you might have heard of the guy's name. His name was Benson, Senator Benson. And that's a well-known name in California. But anyway, they went back to Ireland, where his folks come from, and they bought this ground, about 1,600 acres of ground. And they just turned it over to the Irish government, and they made a park out of it.
Huh.
And these Johnny cars, now that was their way of transportation years ago. But you don't see too many on the road anymore because on account of they're just, everything's motorized over there. But in this park, they take you for a ride on these Johnny cars, and we took a ride in them. And that old horse was a pretty smart horse.
Yeah,
Tell them about that horse.
That horse was really the fun of the ride, I think. He would come to a little hill, you know. Well, he'd get speeded up. He'd go up there. As soon as he got to the top of that hill, he'd just stop. Because, you know, just go real slow down the hill. As soon as he got down, then he'd gate up again to get up. Yeah.
Huh.
He just, and I thought the driver was doing it. He said, no, he does it himself. He'd just
Hmm.
go like heck to get up that hill, you know. And then by the time he get to the top, then he would, here's Father on the donkey. This was, I think that was around the Ring of Kerry that we stopped on there.
Okay, hang on. Hang on. Oh yeah, hold it right there for a second. Let me get the top ones. Now that's a horse you're talking about up the top
No,
picture?
this is the donkey here.
Well, no, up at the top picture though.
Yeah.
Okay. And then then one of those in that picture is Father, right?
Yeah, one
Is
of them.
Father on top or on bottom?
Well, I think.
Which one is the
I
donkey?
think Peg laughed. She said, "Boy, we sure took enough pictures of Father on the donkey. You ready?"
Yeah.
Let's see what we got there. There we go. This little boy right here. That was,
Kevin.
you heard of Feaster High Red Sea Corn.
Mm-hmm.
They're from El Paso. Well, they were the feasters from El Paso.
You're kidding.
And he.
Oh yeah, I saw them. They got on the bus with you and Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thing. Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was part of.
You probably got to know all those people pretty well, didn't
Yeah. Well, here we are kissing the Blarney Stone. That's me there. I really took the best picture on this
You have to
Blarney.
get underneath it.
Yeah, you got to get up.
you? And they're holding you?
Yeah, the guy there.
He's
Tell me when to turn the page.
It
it just flipped.
Go
Put
back
it
to
back
Father
up.
and the donkey again.
Oh,
Mom, what is she under?
And there you
Under
and
the
there
Blarney
is that
Stone.
pop down there?
yeah, that's
Jeez, you got to get all the way under it?
Under the floor, it's the stone
You
is.
gotta lay on your
There.
back, and there's a hole there, and then you gotta stick your neck way back down like that, get your mouth back against the stone.
Why can't you kiss it on top?
Well, it's the dumbest thing
You're
you
lucky.
ever heard of.
Just think of all the slobbery
Well,
lips.
Father
that-
wouldn't kiss it. He said his sister kissed it one time. She was sick for 4 days. He said, you wouldn't catch me kissing that. He said they never wipe it off. And here's Peg. She said to me, she said, Mother, watch your chest. She said, mine about fell out. And the guy said, oh, don't worry, ma'am. I've seen them all.
Mom, did you say before we kiss somebody else's kisses?
Yeah, they kiss somebody else's kiss.
It was
No, you had to pay to see that.
I always thought
You had
the
to pay
Blarney.
to kiss that.
You had to pay to kiss the
We had to
Blarney
pay to
Stone.
get
Yeah.
in.
How much do you have to pay to kiss the
American
Blarney Stone?
tourists.
Well, what was it? Yeah, you had to pay to get in the gate, see, then. And we thought, this was the castle. We didn't realize at the time it was the castle we were supposed, that is the Blarney Castle.
Oh.
And it's way up here, Annie.
The Blarney Stone is
Yeah,
right
it's way
there?
up there, way at the top of this thing. You wind around all these steps.
Now, was the Blarney Stone brought up there years later, or has it always been in the
I don't know, really. Why, it's just.
Yeah, it's
This
it's
is
a
like-
special, supposed to be a special stone that it's and it sits up there in that open window. The highest window there is sits up to an open window on the outside. So you cut a hole through the floor
Yeah.
to get at that window, and that's what he says is below the floor. They got handlebars, iron bars.
They hang out.
It's about 2 feet below the floor.
Here's Peg and Kevin dancing. We stopped someplace they were playing music outside, you know. So this little kid, he got up there and he was dancing, you know, and jiggling around. So he goes over and gets Peggy. Because Peggy made a fuss out of him the whole time, you know. So she was going to dance, you know. He said, no, do it my way. He wanted her to do
You gotta
it.
dance with me, you gotta do
Yeah.
it my way.
He wanted her to do it his way.
Who was he dancing with?
And Peggy.
The little boy that was
Well,
That little boy that was in
he likes
the
that Irish music.
Does she know?
Well, they
here's a picture of our motel. Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
that
nice.
does look nice, huh? Nice view out the window, too.
Yeah, that was on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
That was Westport, I think, or something.
And that's a motel?
Mm-hmm.
That's neat.
See, there was 3 beds there. But that's where I discovered you could take that cover off of there more so.
One for Floss, one for John, and one for
Yeah,
Bridget.
Peggy laughed. She said, well, like 3 bears. They're Papa Bear and Baby Bear. And then I guess Friday we stopped at that, at the, what's that class?
Weatherford?
Yeah, that was very interesting. They weren't
Waterford.
working.
Waterford.
Waterford, yeah. They weren't working, but they was just enough guys, you know. And they started with a little, I don't know if you can see it here now, with just a little thing like that, didn't they, on the end of a rod? And they'd stick it in the furnace, and then they'd bring it back over here, and they'd put them in these, and they each had a fire there, and they'd keep twirling it around. And then they'd just give it a blow, you know, just once they, sometimes they'd just give one little blow, or sometimes they get to the, and then it kept getting bigger, and then they'd put it back in the world again. And then when it got so big, then they had like a big, I don't know what it was, a hand, so, and they turned it in there, and then they shaped it, whichever way they were doing it, you know.
So each glass has to go through all that.
Oh, yeah. And they had, they was, oh, I guess about 4 or 5 men working there. They were each making a different shape. And then here's a guy working on the wheel, where they put all those little,
Grinder.
they put all those
The
little
etchings?
marks. Oh, you know. They had
You said these people were paid the best paid.
the highest paid, didn't he say they were
Craftsmen?
the highest paid skill set in
Yeah.
Ireland?
Oh.
I said to this guy, I said, isn't that awful tedious? He said, no, not really. But I think it would be. And they got masks and stuff for him where it was, you could see on the floor, it was just white as dust, you know. Every place you look was that. But he said a lot of them don't wear them, but I think it would be awful hard on there.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we went, well, it rained practically every day. I think it rained every day, didn't it? Some, but it didn't bother us. Never had a rain, but we went to St. Kevin's Church. And there was this big cross there. And if you're supposed to put your arms around it and touch your fingers. They couldn't do it. And make a wish. So there's Peggy. You'll have to look at her face after a while. And here's John. Here's John. If you look real close, you can see O'Toole there. That's where an O'Toole's buried.
Oh.
They was, oh Lord, every other stone in that cemetery was
Oh,
O'Toole.
too. I bet.
And that guy had been dead what? How long had he been dead?
1,200 years.
1,200 years.
1,200 years.
And that's the stones. They're still, you know, the tombstones
And
are
you
still
still can
standing.
read the tombstone.
Oh.
That was this was all on the inside of the, all was left was the walls of the building.
No,
And
he
here's-
died 800, 49 or 48, something like that.
And here, I was trying to get my hands around that. I couldn't. So Father.
Well, how about Pop? Did he get his hands around?
Yeah, yeah. So there, and I said, well, you're supposed to make a wish. I said, well, I was going to wish for $1 million, but I guess I just wished for good health. So I wished for good health, and by 4 or 5 hours later, I was sick.
You should have wished for the 4 or 5 million.
You know, Pop's here someplace.
My wish hadn't come through yet.
Oh, it hasn't? Oh. Well, I said probably because I wasn't Irish, and then I probably told him, here's, yeah.
Okay, is he reaching all the way around
Oh,
it?
yeah, I did it twice probably. Wasn't too hard, was it, for you?
What?
Get your arms around there.
Well, he's kissing it too, isn't he?
Well, he probably has. Well, you had to get your face up there.
My belly was in the
Yeah, well, that's true. Your belly was probably. And this was an old church, but it was all, I mean, just the walls of it.
Kevin?
St. Kevin's Church.
St. Kevin's Church?
Yeah. It was in that cemetery there. But
Mom, that people still go to that church?
I don't know. Do they still use that church?
No, there's nothing there.
Oh, it's just a wall.
It's just the wall is all that's left. And this was a flower garden, and then I don't think any of the group walked down, Final Father.
I didn't walk down.
Nobody walked down there, but, you know, old Floss walked down there.
See the flowers.
The flowers were so bright. The colors.
They were beautiful.
Sure.
Yeah.
They were just so bright. I suppose, and that's where the grass was just green, you know, it's,
But it rains every day, so
yeah.
they, yeah, sure.
But they said they were shorter rain, that it hadn't rained as much as, oh, here's a couple that you know, friend of your mom.
The,
I took that picture out of the window.
oh, look at that. I'll show you a postcard. That's the,
They were lovely people.
what is their name? I can't think of it.
New misters.
Yeah, Eleanor Newmister.
Yeah.
And Lauren, I think is her name.
Yeah, I guess that's about the end, only where we're at the airport here waiting for the shuttle bus and all that stuff.
Well, I want to hear about the food. You were talking to us about the
About
food
the
before. You said all the bread is really heavy.
Well, yeah, the biscuits and that was it wouldn't be like our cornbread anything. It's really like a heavy.
Do they have any sliced bread there?
Yeah. Oh, they had regular white bread.
And is that heavier too? Or?
No, it was kind of like our bread, wasn't it? The white bread, the sandwich bread.
Yeah.
And then they had a brown bread that was good. It was sliced. But the rest of the rolls and stuff was always kind of heavy. Or I thought they were.
You say there was lots of meat
No, very little.
meat and potatoes and cauliflower.
And we had green beans one night.
Carrots.
Most of the time, would you say?
Well, yeah, that's what we had. Now maybe it was because we were on a tour or something that they had a special, you know, menu for the
Well, you
tour
had meat.
people to.
You had meat there, but
It was. I had prime beef one night.
they eat a lot of fish over there, and this is
was
what
not this thick,
their
you
fish
know.
their fish is good. I think I had salmon twice, and then I had haddock. Haddock. You had.
But it was always kind of tasty, you know. It was always kind of, I had prime beef one night, but I said it was real thin.
Yeah, the cooker was.
You say when you had sandwiches too, you didn't have much meat in your
Oh
sandwich.
no, you can see the meat in sandwiches. We had they had either beef or ham, or and then they had cheese sandwich or ham and cheese, and it was all really thin.
Good soups,
The soup was all free, all juice.
just juice.
But the only time I ate soup was really the Tuesday night at the banquet. It was vegetable soup, but it was good.
Yeah, they had good soup.
And we drank it out of a bowl. It just
No
was-
spoons?
No.
Now, what about, did you say you went through the wool mill, a wool
I didn't
mill?
go to the woman
Didn't
mill.
go.
We stopped there, but
Well, sure we went.
I didn't go in it.
Oh, you didn't go.
No, I went over to shop.
Oh, I guess we just went shopping. We
We didn't have much time. It didn't look like a bigger place. I didn't. Some of them did.
Well, what was the highlight?
Oh, I don't
Probably
know.
the family. Huh?
Probably it was, yeah.
Going up to the home place, and plus going up to the shrine that the Lady of Knox, the mine, boy, I think was the highlight
It was all.
as far as I'm concerned, because my folks always talk about the Lady of Knox. The shrine wasn't too far from their place, and they used to walk over there barefooted.
Huh.
That's before it become commercialized. It's the place where the Blessed Virgin Mary and St. Joseph was supposed to appear
110 years ago.
to the people. So they made a shrine out of
And it's called
Then they
Knox
built it.
Shrine?
it. Lady of Knox.
Believe that.
Then they built a new church.
They come
there.
from all over the world. Now they've commercialized it quite a bit. And they come from all over the world.
They were walking when we were in Mass. I got the pictures. When we were at Mass, you could hear these people praying, and when they walk around there and say the rosary.
They walk around the inside of the church?
No, the outside.
Outside. Huh.
Well, this isn't really the church. Where this is just
There's the
shrine
shrine.
like. But then they built it. When did you say they built that church? That big church?
Not too long
Not too
ago.
long ago.
But I remember My uncle was talking about they used to go around and say the Station of the Cross there,
Well, the stations were there.
barefooted.
Oh, I suppose.
Uh,
Probably in them days it wasn't paved and stuff like it.
no, it wasn't.
That's where they really had beautiful flowers. Great big roses and dahlias and oh, they were just gorgeous.
Well, are you glad you went?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Would you like to go back?
Not for a day or two.
No, I really have noticed.
No, well, that bus trip.
But I,
Them old bones of mine don't take them bus trips anymore.
oh, your old bones, they look pretty good, darn good, I'd say.
Okay, give each other a kiss and look at the camera and say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, welcome back. Glad to be back.
Oh, all right. Goodbye.
You glad to be back?
Oh yeah. Glad,
8 days, some people
glad to
said,
get back and sit on the front porch and relax.
some people said, oh, you're only going to be gone 8 days. 8 days is long enough. It was just
Hey.
nice.
That old bus, when the sneaker on them highway, your body's jarring, your body's moving along with that.
We had a good bus driver, though. He really was a good driver.
Hey, you know, them roads are awful close, isn't it? Man, when they pass them cars or another truck, there wasn't a half a foot between them, I'll tell you.
I was usually on this window, see the driver, or I'd be on the outside, you know, there's the driver sitting over. And he stopped a couple of times to let a car by and looked out, but I couldn't see a thing there, you know. No road, no nothing, it was just, I guess, the bus was hanging over a little bit. There
Yeah,
was nothing there.
they drive on the wrong side of the road there, and I guess the good thing there is because he's over there, he can just
Oh, several
gauge
times.
himself better how close to the car he is.
Several times he stopped to either back a car up or, you know, let them around, or they're going around the little corner, you know, they just completely stopped.
But you're glad to be back on the porch sitting.
No,
You don't have to worry about the edge.
Oh, we didn't have any worries. It seemed like we were busy all the time, but
well, glad to go and glad to get back.
Look at the camera and say goodbye.
goodbye.
Bye-bye.